Welcome back to the Knights Baseball Report. This is our 13th edition, lucky number 13, we hope. I'm alongside the head of the FDU Baseball program, Coach Gary Puccio. I'm Ryan Uhlich. Thank you for joining us yet again in the Knights Baseball Roundup. Another great weekend in the books, 3 out of 4 from LIU Brooklyn here at the Uhlich Family Baseball Complex. A good turnout. And before we get into anything, in lieu of an alumni question of the week, we're going to just discuss how the Alumni Day went on Saturday, May 2nd. A sweep of the Blackbirds in 2 games that day, and just a great time all around.
Yeah, we had the alumni function in the morning. We had a breakfast to honor a couple of our alumni that passed away, Steve Stewart and Mike Sansilio, and many of the Sansilio family were there. A lot of Mike's old teammates were there. A couple of Steve Stewart's old teammates were there. It turned out to be a nice little event for everyone, and Mrs. Sansilio came out and threw out the first ball to start the doubleheader, and obviously that worked out pretty well too. Excellent,
awesome time, and we thank you fans for coming out to the Uhlich Family Baseball Complex. Come out and support your Knights next weekend as well, last weekend of NEC play, very important weekend. But we'll get to that. Right now we're going to break down the LIU series. It was a very entertaining 4-game series. The Knights took 3 out of 4 from the Blackbirds. Very impressive series. The offense was, fantastic up until the game 4, and we'll get to that. But let's start with game 1. This was Joe Flack on the bump. Kind of a pattern here for Joe, but he's been great. But he went 5 scoreless innings, but in and out of trouble. You got to be still happy with his performance. And then uncharacteristically out of the bullpen, Eric Snyder comes in. You go to Eric early, and he gives up. He blows his save. Blows first saves of the season. And eventually stays in for nearly 3 full innings, gets the win, his 3rd win of the season. Meanwhile, the bats come alive. Ryan Brennan had 2 home runs, just all around. And also, got to give credit to Shane Siebler, one of the captains, coming through with his 2nd home run of the season to the go-ahead home run late in the game after the Blackbirds had taken the lead off of Eric. And Siebler went yard, and so did Brennan. So kind of an all-around good game. There's a little bit of missteps in the middle, but otherwise, have to be happy with several performances.
Well, I think those missteps is what made the game even more important for us, and even more impressive. The fact that we were up 5-1. Joe Flack gave up a run, made 5-2. Tyne Run was coming to plate. Brian Snyder gave up a 3-run homer, which is so uncharacteristic of him. But in fantasy, I've been using him a lot, and like you said, looking to get another 3-inning save out of him. And then a couple hours later, someone hit a solo homer for LIU, and also we're down 6-5. They had a 5-run inning, and after we're up 5-1, we're down 6-5, and you kind of figure we're in trouble. It's late in the game. It's bottom of the 8th, I think, and Shane Siebler turned to about the 7th, and Shane Siebler turns around with 2 out, hits a 2-run homer to give us the lead back, and then bottom of the 8th, Ryan Brennan steps up and hits a 3-run homer to put the game away. So 5-1, we were rolling along. It would have been a nice win. It turned out to be an even more impressive win.
Absolutely. I mean, that's baseball. What goes from easy goes to tough in a second. Same thing with game 2. This is the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday. Joe Borelli pitching, and this was supposed to be a 7-inning game, but Snyder comes in for the save. He blows his 2nd save in 2 days, 2nd save of the season. I know, we talk about how great he is and how wonderful, but he goes 3 full innings this game again. Gets that extra 3rd inning. He goes all the way to the 9th inning. It was supposed to be a 7-inning game, remember? And 1 out in the 9th, Pat McClure gets on, singles, and eventually comes around to score. It's Ryan Brennan again with a walk-off single here in front of the home fans. So it's a great momentum shift, despite the trouble that Snyder had at the end of the game. But he locked it down, and the offense stepped up late.
I was very hesitant about going to Eric again after pitching him 3 innings on Friday. But the kid is just so good that, him at 70% is still better than most people. And I'm going to be honest, I turned to Joe Borelli, who was pitching at the time, Ryan McGrath, and Logan Friday, who were my 3 starting pitchers, and I just grabbed them together and I just looked at them and I said, I know he threw 3 innings yesterday, but we got to go to Snyder. And they all looked at me and said, absolutely, coach. So, we brought in Eric, gave up a solo homer with 1 out, nobody on. But as typical Eric, you get to him once, you don't get to him twice. And that tied the game, and he found a way to make sure it stayed only tied for another 3 innings. And I believe it was 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the 9th inning of the 1st game. And we strung together 3 straight singles with Ryan Brennan capping it off with the game-winning RBI. So he had a pretty impressive weekend for himself, too.
No, he did through the first 2 games. Pat McClure did as well. And we'll get to Pat because he garnered NEC Northeast Conference Player of the Week award. And, there were a few nights to choose from this week, especially Ryan. But the offense, you know, phenomenal through the first 2 games. You know, the pitching obviously a little bit of trouble. Snyder locked it down in both games to give the offense a chance to come back, and the offense answered the call.
Right.
So you got to be happy with that. And into game 3, another offensive game. Ryan McGrath on the bump, and you have to, you know, again we're talking about how he was great in the early going, but this is the most innings he's pitched in his collegiate career. So he's letting up a little bit of runs in the middle, or you know, having some issue with the command, but it doesn't really matter because the offense is in phenomenal form right now, and they are just smacking the ball. I think in this game there were 10 or 9 extra base hits, and the top of the order, the top 5, 1 through 5 went, I believe, 11 for 18 or something, with pretty much almost all those extra base hits that I just mentioned. I mean, they were locked in against LIU in this game too, and took it, I believe, 13-6.
13-7.
13-7. My mistake. But how are you feeling about the offense? I mean, the offense, you're hoping that they're not peaking, but they're currently.
You know, the problem with offense is your offense is usually only as good as the other team's pitcher, and you know, when all of a sudden you face someone that's got some stuff or has a good day, and I think Tranquina for LIU proved that on Sunday.
Right.
That, you know, we scored 29 runs the first 3 games, and 2 of those games were 7-inning games, and we scored 1 run off Tranquina on Sunday. So you know, the mark of a good offense is a lousy pitcher thrown against you, or a kid that's not having his best stuff that day. That always makes your offense be a little bit better. And when the pitch is sharp, you know, that's why they say baseball is 90% pitching, because when the pitch is on, there ain't a lot you can do.
Yeah, I know.
So.
You really can't. Now in this game, you had Logan Freddy come out of the bullpen. He's a scheduled Sunday starter, and he did start and go over 8 innings.
Yeah.
But what was the thinking behind going to Logan there?
You know, as we talked about last week, and as I talked to the team, we felt this was a very crucial series at this time of the season, that the team that survived this series, that won 3 out of 4, would put themselves in a position to control their own destiny for making the playoffs. And the team that didn't, not that they'd be out of it, but they were going to have to depend on other people to help them. And I told the guys that we're going to put ourselves, if we have a chance of winning that 3rd game, late in that game, you know, Logan Fry throwing 2 innings successfully for me is better than having to wait for him to throw 9 innings successfully. And I told the team we're just going to take it. I mean, you know, I used Snyder already on Friday, so I knew Snyder, and then I used him 3 innings on Saturday, so it was even worse. But I decided this on Friday when I used him for 3 innings on Friday. I turned to Logan and said, look, if we got a shot winning both games tomorrow, I'm going to need you in the pen the 2nd game so that we can secure the 3rd win. I had him up at 7-5. It was only 7-5, and I said, Logan, we'll give you the ball to you. You know, we told McGrath, just give us 5 strong innings. He did. Gonna give the ball to Logan. Logan said, fine. He's in the bullpen warming up. And next thing you know, it's home run derby here. And, you know, Bobby Romano, the 8 hitter, hitting 194, puts the ball over the wall. Yeah. And I was like happy about that one because I said, okay, now it's 9-5, a little breathing room. That's great. We're in good shape. 2 batters later, Dylan Sprake puts it out, and it's 11-5. And 2 batters later, Pat McClure puts it out, and it's 13-5. And, and now I'm bringing in Logan Friday. Everybody's probably looking around saying, what's he doing? But I already had the kid warming up and everything. So I was like, you know what? This was the plan. Let's finish it out. And it obviously didn't affect Logan on Sunday because, as it turned out, he pitched the best game of the weekend. On Sunday, he gave up 2 runs going to the 9th inning.
Right.
We didn't score. We scored 1 run.
I know. It was like a bullpen session, you had said to me.
Right. That's basically what it was. He was throwing a 30-pitch bullpen. That's what we had talked about. And, you know, we kind of stuck with that plan because, you know, one of the things I told the kids after the 4th game, because the 4th game was disappointing. I mean, we didn't get a bunt down. We had a bad base run mistake in the 1st inning. We did a couple of bad things in that game that, you know, that hurt us. And you know, then LIU, to their credit, hit a 2-run homer in the 9th to make it 4-1 and put the game out of reach. I think they ended up winning 5-1. But you know, I told the guys, had we lost the 1st game, won the next 3, we'd be jumping up and down. The bottom line is, you can't change your goal. Your goal at the start of the series, win 3 out of 4. Gravy if you win the 4th game, but you can't let losing that Sunday game affect your outlook or affect your going forward, because you did what you need to do. Win 3 out of 4.
Very true.
You know, and now we're in a position where 2 splits, you know, a split with Bryant, a split with Mount, and we're going to playoffs. So it's in our hands. You know, it's up to us to get it done.
There you go. You heard it right. Now, I think we've alluded to enough about the Sunday game because you kind of get the message here. The Knights dropped a 5-1 game to the Blackbirds in the 4th series after going 3-0 in the series up to that point. But just quickly touching on Logan, you know, after pitching 30 pitches or some odd, you know, in game 3, but he goes out there and pitches 8 1/3, and he keeps it to, you know, 2 runs for the vast majority of the game. You got to be impressed with that.
Logan's terrific. I mean, you know, he's been a solid anchor for us, and that's why I pitch him on Sunday. I'm very happy with him, and you know, he gives us a great effort to win. The starting pitching, for the most part, the four of them, you know, that was Ryan McGrath's 6th win of the season. I mean, you know, this is a kid that hasn't thrown over 10 innings for us in any season. He's got 6 wins already. I mean, it's prime Byron. And, you know, Borelli's pitching like the old Borelli. He had a 2-hitter against New Jersey Tech a couple weekends ago. And Joe Flack's he's just a tough kid. It's like 10 or 11 starts in his career here of 3 runs or less. So they're giving us a chance. And that's, you know, all you can ask how your starting pitcher is give us a chance. And like you said, the offense has been hitting well enough that they're scoring some runs to give our pitchers a chance too. So, yeah, I'm happy with the way we're playing. I mean, you know, now it's crunch time, and if we get it done, great. If we don't get it done, we did a hell of a job getting us to this point. We really did.
Now, one of the players getting you up to this point, 8-8, tied for 3rd in the NEC currently, was Pat McClure, redshirt junior catcher. He was honored with the NEC Player of the Week award. Pat had a ridiculous weekend. Batted .643 over 4 games. He had 2 3-hit games. As you said, he had the 2-run home run as well. Started that 9th inning rally, that one game 2. Just phenomenal work. And it's amazing because coming into this weekend, he was batting about .215. Right. He jumped all the way up to almost .275 by just going .643 over a 4-game series. That was a huge, huge series for him. And you gotta hope that that momentum carries for the next 2 weekends from your cleanup hitter.
You know, that's why you have to look at stat sheets too, because it's funny, because as a coach, you know, all I remember, I mean, I do remember him hitting the 2-run homer, and then I remember Sunday him striking out with the bases loaded with 2 out, and I, you know, I said, and then I get told at the end of the weekend how he hit .643 and had a .722 on base percentage.
Yeah, right. 72% of the time he came up to the plate, he got on base.
Right. I mean, it's just mind-boggling, and yet as a coach, it's incredible because you just remember certain moments, you know. But I mean, everyone knows I'm a big Pat McClure was my first recruit here. I am a big Pat McClure supporter. He's the captain of the team. He's a natural leader, and it's not a coincidence that the 3 leaders of the team, Siebler, McClure, and Snyder, all came up big when we needed them to.
Absolutely. This upcoming weekend is massive. You're going against perennial NEC power Bryant. You're going to be in Smithfield, Rhode Island this weekend for a 4-game series. Just a quick scouting report on what you expect out of the Bulldogs.
Hey, you know, they're Bryant. Yeah. Bryant did a defending champs of the league for what, 3 years in a row, something like that. And, you know, we got to go into their ballpark and play. Not an easy place to play, not an easy place to win, but you know what? Like I said, it's in our hands, so we got to get it done. And you know, you got to beat the good teams. If you want to go somewhere, you got to beat the good teams. And Bryant's obviously one of the good teams.
And after that, Mount St. Mary's. That's the final NEC weekend here at the Naimoli Family Baseball Complex in Teaneck. Great support against LIU Brooklyn this past weekend. Come out and support your Knights that weekend. This weekend, you watch them on NEC Front Row. That's the way you support them, FDUnites.com and at FDUnites on Twitter. Before we go, we got to talk about several baseball players were honored 2 nights ago. Right. Yesterday was last night's. Right. But Monday night's Athletic Awards banquet. It was a great night, as always. And first we'll start with Corbin Gapsky.
No, first we'll start with you, because I'm going to have to jump in and say that for those of you that don't know, Ryan received the H. Rogers Muse Award, which is given to a staff member, coach, facility person, anybody associated with athletics who has contributed over and beyond what expectations are in their job. And Ryan's been proving that since the day he came here 2 years ago. He's been a big major plus to the athletic department. I'm sure you've seen him with other sports, with doing videos and everything else he's done. He announced our games here a couple of years ago when he first started, and so he's done a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a really great thing that he ended up getting that award, because it was certainly well deserved, and we're very happy for him. I was told they did not take this show into account. that helped you get it. So, but seriously, all kidding aside, we're very happy for you, and it's certainly well deserved.
Thank you, I appreciate it, and I'm glad that when we shot this yesterday, you have to say it all again to me.
There you go.
Now today, no, it was a great honor. It's been a wonderful 2-3 years. The third year was as a broadcaster when I first got here, and it's been great. Everyone's been really supportive. Doing the show with you has been great. Watching this team.
I don't know about that.
It's been awesome. It's been fun. I've loved every minute of it. It's gonna be bittersweet for sure.
I'm trying to find out who the 2 people are that watch Besides you and me.
I know. We got plenty of alumni, I believe,
okay.
right? Well, I'm glad you guys are still watching after this, what we're just talking about. Anyway, I got an award. It's wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that helped.
All kidding aside again, it is well deserved.
Thank you.
You will be missed. I know we have 2 shows
I'll be back.
left.
I'll be back for
left, right?
I'll be back as a fan going
Right.
forward. No doubt about that. You'll see me at the games. 2 baseball players got honored with award 3, actually. Sorry. First, Corbin Gapsky got honored with the Rich Panicucci Award, one of 3 to get it for his, just leadership on and off the field, his contributions on and off the field, and you know what he's done off the field. We've talked about him. I interviewed him a few weeks ago, but just tell us what he's done to this team.
Without question, the most popular athlete at FDU. He's so well liked by everyone, and we're really happy that he came back to play baseball this year. He had played as a freshman, and for circumstances that were beyond his control, he wasn't able to play the last 2 years, and get him back on the team this year was just special. And he's one of the reasons we're winning, because he's one of those guys that knows how to keep a team motivated and keep a team up and keep a team focused and also keep a team having fun. And Corbin deserves a lot of credit. It's not a coincidence that we made the playoffs freshman year with Corbin here and that we have a shot making him again this year. He's definitely a factor in that.
Now the 2 team awards. Every team gets 2 awards to honor a team MVP, which goes without saying, what that means, and then the night award, which I'll let Coach Puccio explain a little bit more. The night award this year went to junior Joel Roman, and the MVP was, of course, I don't really know who else was going to get it at this point, but Eric Snyder picked up his MVP award. And we'll talk about his second award in a second, but why don't you talk about your 2 team awards then?
Yeah, one of the things with Joel was our starting third baseman the last 2 years, and this year we kind of moved him into a different role. Bobby Romano came in, and defensively, Bobby's just outstanding at third base. There's no knock at Joel. Joel's a good third baseman. Bobby is an absolutely incredible third baseman, and so Bobby kind of won the role defensively to take over third, and instead of sulking or instead of becoming an issue for it, Joel just did everything he could to help Bobby and continued to hit for us and accepted his new role as the DH and still plays third occasionally, but basically just accepted his role 100%, and he's gone out there and helped Bobby and helped the team win, and he's the recipient of the Harvey Woods Scholarship Award, and you just could not ask for a nicer kid. He's done some great things for us, and I wanted to make sure that got recognized.
Absolutely, Mr. Suavemente himself. If you ever came to a home game the last 2 years, his welcome music will be with you forever. It's gonna haunt my dreams forever. But it's great. I interviewed Joel weeks ago, and great guy, great leader, deserving of the award. And of course, Eric got the MVP, but he also very impressively garnered the Walter Maruzin Male Athlete of the Year award. He split that with tennis's Arvis Berzins after Arvis picked up his 4th straight NEC Player of the Year award, which is incredible. But Eric was right there alongside him, split the award, and very deserved.
Yeah, like we talked about last week, Eric's now the all-time save leader in the history of the NEC, not just FDU.
Yeah, crazy. And
that's incredible. The kid's got 31 saves for us and 10 wins. So he's averaged, 10, being involved in 10 victories a year. There's guys that played ball at FDU that didn't win 40 games in their career as a team, let alone this kid doing it by himself. I shouldn't say by himself, but getting saves and wins for us to total that kind of number. And his next save will give him 32, which will be double the next highest save total at FDU, which is 16, which is Spencer Kelly, who I also had the honor of coaching his senior year. Great kid. But Eric's sometimes you get someone that's special, and he has been, from the day he walked in, his freshman year, he set a record of 12 saves. That also was an NEC record at the time for most saves in a season, and it was an FDU record. And he's just been, every time he goes out there, he just does it again for us. And, like I said, even this weekend, loused up both saves, but turned into 2 wins. It's just who he is. And I am very, very lucky to have had him as the closer for the last 4 years.
No doubt about it. That's the beauty of sports. What draws me to sports is the circumstances and just players, people taking advantage. He was recruited not to be a closer.
Right. He's supposed to be a starting pitcher.
Supposed to be a starter, and look who he is. He's the NEC's all-time saves leader. He's the all-time program leader. Going to double the next person, Spencer Kelly. just take it and run with it.
It just shows you never know what tomorrow brings. You know,
Absolutely.
You just never know. You can't, like you said, going to be a starter, circumstances. And I asked him to close, and I even asked him just to close for freshman year, but then he did such a good job at it. I said, we're not taking him out of that job.
Yeah.
And obviously that's proven out to be the right thing based on him being the all-time saver here.
All right, that is the 13th edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. We pray this works, but I think it will. I'm pretty confident in that.
There was no sound on the original version of this.
You're never going to see that one because it was a silent film.
Right. Our original taping, I was told, retake. So
right. So we got here.
That's why we're here again.
It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It might bring another Knights Baseball Roundup attempt. It also might bring beautiful weather or snow. I don't know in the Northeast, but
correct.
we do know this coming weekend the Knights will be on the road at the defending champions Bryant. Follow along on NEC Front Row, FDUKnights.com, at FDUKnights on Twitter. Support your Knights. And then next weekend, obviously next week, we'll have another edition of this. We'll talk more because you love that. You keep coming back for that. And you come out to the I'm Family Baseball Complex and you watch them take on Mount and try to make it to the NEC postseason tournament. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. That's,
there you go.
That's the big thing. Be out here next weekend because no matter what happens up at Bryant, next weekend we'll be playing here to try to get into the NEC tournament.
Absolutely.
And the support you give us would be a big help.
All right, so we hope to see you out there. We hope to see you watching online. Thank you for watching another edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. I'm Ryan, this is Gary, and we will see you next week, another edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. Thanks for watching this week.